The information provided by Trading Forex Price Action to you does not constitute personal financial advice. The information provided is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice.
Weekly Forecast.
Hey guys, this is a weekly forecast for June 7th through the 11th of 2021. Alright, we'll start off with the Euro-USD pair. This is a monthly chart. We'll start off with an overview. So because of this price action right here being very strong short, and this move still having a ways to go, in the long term, I'm short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. However, because of a breakout of this prominent trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here, and that breakout being right here, in the medium term, I am long biased right back up to this pivot up here. However, on the weekly chart, since there's more strength short than long, in the short term, I am short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. Okay, let's talk entries. Okay, this is a weekly chart. Let me run you by the setup I've been looking at for the past couple of months. So there was a strong short trade right here, then a week long trade form. So as price pulled back, I was looking for short trades right back down to this pivot low as a target. And then the same thing repeated, another week long trade formed. So as price pulled back, I was again looking for short entries right back down to this new pivot low as a target. And that same thing happened again. So another week-long trade formed. So as price pulled back 2 weeks ago, I mentioned I took a short trade right at this 1.2250 level with a stop loss at this pivot high right here and its main target being right back down here. Now for those of you that missed the reasoning for this short entry right here, let me quickly explain that to you. So let's just get rid of this. Okay, so typically in this type of setup where a short trade is stronger than its long trade, and thus I'm waiting for a pullback to enter short again, right back down to that last week long trade stop loss level right here. I will wait for another lower time frame strong short trade to form for the entry short. However, in this case, since price pulled all the way back close to the last weekly short trade stop loss level, which is right here, and since I'm expecting price to not reach this price level up here, before price falling right back down to this target right here, I was able to take a short trade with roughly 100 pip stop loss, and thus since the pip count is small, I was able to adjust my lot sizes to a risk amount that I'm comfortable with. Alright, so let me update you on how I'm managing this short trade, so let's go over to the daily chart. Okay, so on this daily chart, I took that short position roughly 2 weeks ago at this 1.2250 level, with the stop loss being right up here at this pivot high right here, and its main target being right back down here. And now last week as price fell, I was mentioning there was lower time price action right here that didn't quite fulfill the requirements needed to be compact, strong, long price action. However, at the same time, it was very close to being legitimate. And so at that point, I was mentioning the only way I would add another short position to this short setup is if price comes back down and stops out the stop loss level for this compact long price action that didn't fulfill its requirements roughly at this level right here, to add confirmation that in fact this lower time frame compact price action was not legitimate. And price came down and did stop it out. However, we did not get much of a pullback to entice me to take another short entry at that point. So at this point, I'm only holding that original short position I took 2 weeks ago. Okay, so in terms of trade management, there's a couple new things that I'm keeping an eye out for this short trade. So let me take you to the 1 minute chart. Alright, so on this 1 minute chart, there was this fake double bottom that formed right here. So fake double bottoms typically do not go as target height, which is generally in this area right here. However, about an hour later, the NFP report was released right here, and price wildly ignored this price action setup right here and burst right through that level that price should not have reached according to this fake double bottom right here. So one thing I do want to mention is that on NFP days, if I have a position open in which the stop loss is close to current price, now what I mean by close is roughly 70 pips to maybe 100 pips nearby, I will either move the stop loss to a point where erratic price action won't stop it out, or I'll close the trade altogether. However, in this case, since my stop loss is way up at the weekly pivot high, there was no need for these types of measures. Now at this point, there's two things I'm looking for to make sure this short position runs smoothly to its target. Now the first one is for price to reach this pivot low right here. Now the reason being is that although the NFP's erratic price action did cause price to get through this fake double bottoms target height right here, after the dust settles and price calms down, this fake double bottom stop loss level right here is still a point in which if price reaches, will confirm to me that that short trade's condition is healthy. Okay, so there's one other thing I'm looking for, so let's go over to the monthly chart. Okay, so on this monthly chart, try drawing this trend line from this pivot right here to this pivot right here. So as you can see, last month there was a breakout of this trend line right here, and now price is retesting this breakout. Now at this point, the daily chart's price action did close back into this trend line level, however the weekly did not. So at this point, I'm watching for next week's candle to close right back into this trend line right here on this monthly chart to cause a failure of a breakout. And last but not least, I'm always watching for compact lower long price action, where the width between each peak is extremely small, which indicates strong long strength. Now if this type of price action forms on the lower time frames, I would abort that short position altogether immediately. Alright, but in the immediate future, I'm simply looking for that 1 minute fake double bottoms stop loss level to get hit. Okay, and if you're having trouble understanding what I'm talking about in terms of strong short trades and weak long trades, please watch my price action trading course, for that course is designed to provide you the information that allows you to understand the content of these forecasts and analysis. Okay, let's go on to the Usdjpy pair. Okay, this is a monthly chart. We'll start off with an overview. Okay, so ultimately I'm expecting price to fall right back down to this 101 pivot low right here. But before that, I was talking about the move right up to 104, then to 109, and then down to 101. So in the long term, I'm still short biased right back down to this 101 level. However, since I'm waiting for this long momentum to wane a bit, in the medium term, I'm neutral biased. Okay, let's talk entries. Alright, we'll stay on this monthly chart. If you recall, what we're looking for in terms of this waning long momentum, first of all was a break back into this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. Okay, so since this breakout right here was of a prominent trend line, the first thing I wanted to see in terms of waning long momentum is a monthly break back in to this monthly trend line. Now at this point, these two monthly candles were not able to break back into this trend line, so we're not getting that confirmation of waning long momentum. But still, a breakout back in to this monthly trend line on the monthly chart is an element I'm watching for in terms of waning long momentum. Okay, so the other side of waning long momentum was on the daily chart, so let's go over that. Okay, so if you recall on this daily chart, the last long trade that formed was right here, with the stop loss being right at this pivot low right here. And like I've been mentioning, there were many weak short trades that formed after that. So basically there was a strong long trade and many weak short trades after that. And this has been continuing for the last month or so. Now this is a very common setup in which price is showing a lot of long strength. However, even if price is showing a lot of strength long on the daily chart, still, if price could pull right back to this daily long stop loss level right here and stop it out, that will confirm waning long strength. Now let me go ahead and explain this to you on the weekly chart, so let's go over there. Alright, so on this weekly chart, this initial long move to 104 then to 109 was based on this weekly long trade right here. And this long trade stop loss is right at its pivot low right here. Now the reason why I was targeting 109 is because in my opinion, this weekly long trade's main target was a monthly trend line, and that monthly trend line being at this 109 level. Now when trades main targets are hit, price typically just pulls right back to stop out the traders that are still long in this last long trade, with the stop loss being at this pivot low right here. Now, if this were the case in which this weekly long trade already hit its target at this 109 level, then typically no matter how strong a lower time frame's long trade is, since the weekly bias is down, price should stop out those strong lower time frame long trades. Now in this case, like I showed you earlier, that daily strong long trade was right here, with the stop loss being at this pivot low right here. So again, like I mentioned, if price could pull back down and stop out that daily strong long trade stop loss level right here, that will prove to me that this weekly long trade's main target was hit, and price will fall right back down to stop out the long traders that still have a position with their stop losses right here at this level. Okay, so those are the two elements I'm looking for in terms of this waning long momentum. Okay, if you recall, I did take an intraday long trade on that daily long trade that formed right here. So let me update you how I'm managing that trade. So let's go over to the daily chart. All right, so on this daily chart, if you recall, roughly a month and a half ago, I took this long trade right here with the stop loss right here at this point. However, I mentioned I took very small targets. And from that point on, I was only leaving 10% in to see if price could go up a little higher. But I was also mentioning that the most I'll take these targets was at that monthly trend line down, in which price reached this week right here. And so I took another 5% out, leaving me with just 5% left of the entire position. Now the reason why I'm leaving that 5% in is because for the current moment, this price action right here, like I mentioned earlier, where there's a strong long trade and many weak short trades consecutively, is a common price setup that does show strong long strength. Alright, so let me show you that monthly trend line level I was talking about in earlier forecasts at this level right here. So let's go over to the monthly chart. Alright, so on this monthly chart, you're on this trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. Now that final target I was talking about was right at this level right here. Now just to add another element in terms of future price action, this trend line level I just drew is a trend line I am looking at in terms of a possible breakout right here, or possibly even compact short price action on the lower time frames to form on this level right here. So those are also things I'm looking for in terms of future price action. But for the time being, the main element I'm looking for is again for that daily long trade stop loss level to get hit, showing a sign of waning long momentum. Okay, so that's it for the weekly forecast. I hope you guys have a great week, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.